Let me see. Yeah, we are on YouTube. So let's start. Good afternoon, tour. We are here for another English immersion. My name is Warley, and the topic for today is the importance of sleeping well. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this topic. But before to start with introductions and the questions, I would like to explain a little bit about Talk and Talk, so you that are watching us on YouTube can understand how this idea works and how this kind of immersion works as well. So in a general way, Talk and Talk is a conversation platform for beginner, intermediate, and advanced speakers. It's not so important your level in English, and this is not a regular class. I'm not an English teacher. The idea is to focus on the conversation here and try to develop your fluency and your confidence as an English speaker. So that's the main idea. We don't focus on correction as well. So that's the focus here, okay? Besides English, we have other languages like Spanish, French, Italian, and German, I believe. So you can see all of that on the Talk and Talk website. And yeah, I think that's all about the platform, okay? So with that in mind, we can go to the introduction. So Vanessa, can you please introduce yourself first?
Yes. So, as you already said, I'm Vanessa. This is my first meeting actually since I got the app yesterday. So, I'm from Curitiba. I'm living here since last year and I'm enjoying, especially the weather. It is nice. Um, I am accountant and um, I like spend my time with my family. I really like cooking, and I think eating is one of the amazing things that we can do at family. Spending time together, eating, laughing. That's nice. I also like to receive um, people at my house. So this is one of the things that I really, really enjoy doing. And let me see what else. I'm married and I'm here to improve my English. I think that's it.
Amazing, amazing. And how about you, Christian? Can you please introduce yourself first?
Sure. Hello, guys. I'm delighted to be here. For those who don't know me, my name is Cristian Jimenez. I am from Bolivia. However, I currently live here in Curitiba, Paraná. I am 36 years old. I currently work in IT area, and I've been working in that area for almost 12 years. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm living here in Brazil. I moved here 3 years ago because of my job with my wife. So I am married. Let me see what else. In my free time, I can say that I really love learning new languages such as English and French. In fact, I am trying to learn French, and I started learning French. It will be 2 years ago, 2 years in this June. I practiced French here in the platform in TNT, and I became English host as well the last year. Uh, I, I think that's it a little bit about me, guys.
Amazing, amazing. So about me, my name is Warley. I'm 25 and I live in Recife, Pernambuco. I work with IT as well as a project manager, and I'm also an English host here at Talk and Talk. I'm here since 2022, I believe, years ago, like 3 years ago. I have started as a Spanish host here, and nowadays I'm focused more on English. I like to learn language, like Spanish and English, for example, and I also like to learn about neuroscience and behavior as well, and I like to run. And yeah, I think that's all about me. So let's start with the question number one. Have you ever struggled with sleep deprivation, and how was that for you, for example? Let me see about you, Christian. What do you think?
Hmm. So, when I was in the university, when I was still studying, I used to play video games so much, specifically the Dota 2, Dota 1 and Dota 2 with my friends. So that was a time that I spent so much of my time playing that game. But I'm not sure if it was like deprivation because it was something that was on me. That was my decision. By but let me see. I think I never struggled sleeping well. It was just that time that I was sleeping really bad, like just three. Sometimes I passed overnight playing that video game with my friends, and it was obviously unhealthy for my physical and mental health. So yeah, but nowadays I could say that I don't have this kind of problems. I sleep easily because every single day I finish my day so exhausted or so tired. I think that was the only experience that I had in the past.
Nice. So you said that's not so common nowadays for you to have this kind of deprivation of sleep, for example. But
No,
in the
go ahead.
past when you I'm sorry, in the past when you had this kind of experience, how was the next day for you? Is kind of so
So
complicated, or let me see.
it was not that complicated because I considered that I was younger, so it was not that difficult to wake up the next day and do all of my activities like going to the university, going to my classes, playing the sports that I like it to do. But it's because I was younger. I think that if I try to do the same nowadays, it will be really tricky. Because, for example, nowadays, if I want to watch a full match, that it's normally at night, it's really difficult. Sometimes I get asleep during the match. Although the match is so important to me, I cannot remain asleep. So yeah, I think that's because I am getting older.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. When you are like a kid or a teenager, it's so easy to just don't sleep, and you will get bad. You will like be well on the next day, you know. So it's okay. But when you get older, it's so complicated because even when you sleep in in some way good, for example, you feel so tired the next day, you know. And if you have this kind of deprivation of sleep when you are an adult, for example, it's pretty complicated for that. And I believe that's the same when you think about exercise. When you have exercise and you will get like bad on the next day with a lot of pain, for example. So yeah, it's complicated when you think about the age in a general way. It's hard when you are getting older. And yeah, I totally understand you, and I feel the same. But okay, and what about you, Vanessa? Let me know about you.
Well, I agree with Christian. I'm 32, by the way, so I can relate the kind of oldness feeling because when I was at the university at my 18s, 20s, I could spend until late night studying, and at that time, I used to work full day and then go straight away to the university. So sometimes I needed because of this background of accountancy area. So some period of the month, and I would say the year, we have like a very stressful moment. So we have to address clients. You have to payroll done. So we have more pressure at this kind of time of the year or at the month as well. So I remember sometimes that I needed to come back to the workplace because I have job to finish. So I could work until I would say midnight, 1, 2 a.m. So the other day, the other day, which is the same day, I could wake up early and go to the next day, the following day activities, and it was okay. Like I wasn't very happy. I could struggle a little bit, but I could manage, you know. Today I can even I can even be wake up until 11 p.m. So I'm just early bird nowadays.
About this point, do you think that have a routine, for example, impact a lot on this point, or is quite of just not related with this kind of tiredness and point of sleep deprivation? Do you think to have a routine uh, help you to have more sleep and to have more quality on sleep as well?
Yes, I think routine organization is part of the job that we have to manage to have good sleep. I know for my own experience that at that time that I have sleep deprivation, I was learning. I have a lot of things to do. I wouldn't be able to just study, so I had to work as well. So I was aware that this kind of type of living, it was just for a period of time, but I always dreamed of having like this kind of routine where I could go sleep like 10 maximum p.m. I remember when I went to boarding school when I was 15. Yes, 15 years old. So I studied on a boarding school since um, since I was 15 years old to 18 years old. And before that time in my house, I didn't have routine, so I could go sleep whenever I wanted. So my mom, she wasn't really caring about the time we would go to sleep because she had other activities. So that wasn't a problem at our home. But I remember when I went to boarding school, it was very strict. The time that we need to wake up, the time that we need to go to school, go to other activities, doing exercise, choir, or spend time with friends, and of course time to go to bed. Well, I can't deny that at that time we didn't have smartphones. As you can notice, I'm not very young, so we didn't have this kind of distractions that we have nowadays. But yes, I could learn the good effects of having organization at life, to making the commitments, the events that you have on a calendar, so you can see what's going to happen next day, next week, so you can prepare and think ahead. What do you need to provide in order to have everything done? So, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, you said a point that I was remember here about some phrase that I have read next week, I believe, last week, I believe, and it was like, don't go to sleep without know what you have the next day, you know. So yeah, I pretty agree with that, and I think it's pretty important to have like an agenda or a calendar or uh, like to know your activities and the tasks that we have the next day. It's so important, and it's just a part of a big routine that you need to have, you know. I pretty think that we need this kind of routine and this kind of organization to sleep well and to have a lot of other things to achieve a lot of other things like exercise and eat well as well, and eating healthy food and to have a balanced life, you know. So I think that it's so important. And as you said, sometimes we have to focus on a job, on an activity on your job, or on a study about your university or something like that. But it needs to be just a period of time, you know. So it's okay to do that because you need to focus. For example, I believe the last experience that I have related to sleep deprivation, it was on the university that I had to end my final graduation project, you know. So I had to do that, but because I had a deadline. But it's important to know that it shouldn't be a habit, so you need to create a routine, a good routine for you as well. So it's important. So to have this balance, it's nice. So I think we can go to the question number 2 right now. How many hours of sleep have you been getting lately, and how is that for you? It's easy for you, for example, to get sleep and fall asleep, for example, or it's like you have a problem with insomnia, I don't know. So let me know about you, Vanessa. How is that for you?
Yeah, that's a good question because I have never felt the things that I had last, I think, 2 months. Um, because I'm really good at getting sleep. So some of my friends they used to laugh at me because when I when I am asleep, I usually I could just find a place where I feel comfortable. It could be a seat, a sofa in the car, on the bus. It doesn't matter if if I feel comfortable, even if it's noisy, if there is people speaking or loud sound, that's no problem for me, so I could get to sleep. But I had a immunity disease in January, so I had to get some medicine because of this treatment. So one of the worst thing that I felt because of the effects of these medicines was the getting trouble to get sleep. So it was just hard to me, so I couldn't sleep the amount of hour that I properly need, because I know I need at least 8 hours of sleep. So if I had less, I would be in trouble, and all the people around me, especially my husband, will be in trouble as well. So this is one of the worst thing that I have ever experienced. So I would say that since three 3 weeks ago, I have been getting my enough amount of hours of sleeping, and I can feel much better today.
Nice. And about this specific point of amount of hours that people need, for example, do you think people is really different related to that? For example, maybe someone need just 5 hours of sleep per day, and you, for example, need like 8, and that's common? Or no, do you think that all the people need like some 7 hours or something like that? What do you think about this point?
Well, I think that nowadays we have lots of researches and studies about sleeping, which I think that's pretty good and we really need it. But I believe that all of us human beings, we are not the same, so I believe that this 8 hours for me, it's good, it's what works for me, but it is not the same for my husband, for example. I would say that he needs less than me. And one of thing that I noticed that it is really important, and this is for my own account. This is what I'm saying. It is not based on studies or researches, but I really believe that one of the things that is common for everybody is the fact that when it's night, when it's getting dark, our body is feeling that it's time to rest. So we are less productive. We I don't think we could turn around the time of sleeping, because I could sleep these 8 hours that I'm saying that is enough for me. I could sleep it during the day, but it wouldn't be the same. So I am sure that there is different type of people and their needs, but what I believe that is the same for everybody is when it's getting dark, we need to go to sleep. So I think the people who have to, because of their job, because of their choices, that people who sleep during the day, they don't get the enough vitamins, they don't rest as well as we doing it at night. So this is what I think.
Yeah, it's another important point about the time, the period of the day that you go to sleep, that you said, and I totally agree with that. But before to give my opinion, let me know about you, Christian. Do you think the same that Vanessa, for example, that all the people need this specific amount of time of sleep? Or do you think people is different and someone is okay if they are going to sleep like just 5 hours? What do you think about that?
So I completely agree with Vanessa. I think that our body is kind of the same for everybody. We will like create it at the same way. So I'm gonna say as well that sleeping well is as much important as feeding. So yeah, I think that everybody should try to sleep at least 7 hours. In my personal case, this year my wife and I, we started waking up earlier for study or for doing different things. Like in my personal case, studying French and English. So we try to wake up 5:30 every single morning. So as well, with that change, we try to sleep at least 7 hours and a half every night. So that's why we are trying to go to bed at 10 p.m. as max. And it did this changes was kind of strict, but I think that is working well because I feel that I am more efficient, more concentrated in mornings. So I think that's why I all of the things that I am studying, I am retaining that information like better in my head, in my mind. And as well about our body, I know that for some researches that it's important to rest well, uh, even for those who go to the gym, for example, to create muscles. If they work out really hard and they don't sleep well, the muscle doesn't have the time the the good time for regenerating or for growing. So for those for that's a good example that resting is important for our body. For regenerate the muscles, our body needs rest. Obviously not just the body, not just the muscle as well, our brain, our brain needs to rest. There is a quote, but no, it's not a quote, it's like a phrase that I read on the internet that said if you reset your computer because it is getting slower and slower because you open a lot of the application and so on, why don't you reset your body or why don't you rest more for being more efficient or have more energy the next day. So yeah, my personal opinion, it's important. I am trying to rest more this year.
Yeah, that's a good point and a good idea as well, because sometimes I think that's pretty funny when someone is saying like, well, I don't need to sleep and sleep is waste of time, and I don't need that and all this stuff. And for me, it's pretty funny because it's exactly the point, you need to recover your body, you need to sleep, you need to rest sometime. And is that important? That's important for your body as well and for you, so it's important for study better, to work better, to have attention and all the quality of life, of a healthy life. You need to rest, you need to recover, you need to sleep, specifically in this point. So I totally agree with that. And about the point of the amount of hours that you both said, I totally agree with you. I know that people is not exactly the same. I think that someone need less hours than me, for example, and maybe the opposite. But in a general way, I believe that all of the people need like 7 hours or something like that, every day. Because if you are having like just 5 hours of sleep, maybe you don't feel exactly the point or the bad consequences about that, but you are having bad points, you need to rest more, and it's common. We have a lot of studies about that, and you need like this amount of hours. And I also believe that people need to have a routine of sleep, just go to bed at night and don't, in a general way, change the part of the day that you are like sleeping. So we have this point about we need we need to go to sleep at night, and we need wake up in the morning, for example. And it's pretty important because the light for our eyes, it's important to just remember your brain that it's the morning and the day you need to wake up, and the opposite as well. So it's like a common thing, for us. So I think that's pretty important. But okay, we are on the question number two, so let's go to the question number two right now. Have you ever tried a sleep tracking app, or I don't know, do you think is that uh, useful for all of us, or for you, for example? Do you think you have a difference using some app related to that?
I
So
think
let me know. Yeah, go Vanessa, go ahead.
I think I would be anxious if I knew that I'm not having the amount exactly that I need, because trying to manage the way to get back to the right amount, so I would be anxious and I couldn't sleep, so this kind of feeling. But I saw some friends and people who really like knowing these estimatives. So they have this ring called Aura ring, which you use like a normal ring. So it just it is not only to have the sleeping part, but it also measure how is the amount of water in your body, how is the stress that you are feeling, that your body is feeling, how it is your body managing doing this. So I think this is good one, but I haven't tried because it's so expensive. But I would love.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you. I think it's important when you think about you have the all the data and the measures about your body, about, I don't know, blood pressure and oxygen rate and all this stuff, and also about the quality of your sleep, for example. And I think it's nice because with that you have data and you have the idea about what's get wrong, and you can like improve that, so that's pretty important, and that's nice. But I also agree with you that when you have this quite of data, maybe on the next day you will get like anxious about, well, I didn't sleep well last night, and this kind of app it's saying that I need sleep and I need rest, and it's quite of a emotional thing too, so it's hard. I believe it's pretty hard for some people, you know. But yeah, it's also an interesting idea, and actually in a general way, I think we have a more like achievable device right now, like uh, some apps and some devices that we can use, and it's not so expensive like the ring, for example, and all this stuff. But yeah, it's a good point, I think. And what about you, Christian? What do you think about this question number three?
In my case, it's the same. I never tried this kind of application, and I know about people who really love to track this kind of information. You know, we live in a age that numbers matters, so we try to have all of those numbers under control. But I never try it. So the only application that I use for related to sleeping well is my clock alarm. But I think that it would be interesting. I know that you can track how much time as well. If it's okay for depending of the activities that you normally do in your daily basis. But personally, I never tried any, and I don't know any of those kind of applications.
Yeah, the same for me. I have never used an app or a device with that, but I know that we have like some device that we can use for measure this point, and I think that's nice. But I've never tried as well, and I would like to have one maybe for just know if the quality of my deep sleep or something like that. It's okay, and I have the enough hours of sleep as well. So maybe it's nice, but yeah, it's an interesting point maybe for the future to try some device like that. But okay, so let's go to the question number 4 right now. What changes have you made to improve your sleep quality? Maybe in the past or maybe nowadays, you can say some thing that you are trying to do, for example, and for improve your sleep, the quality of your sleep. So let me know, Christian, about you, what you are trying to do.
So as I already said, I changed the schedules that I wake up nowadays. So I think that it helped me for sleeping better because I think that I start doing the hardest things in my personal opinion, that is studying. Because after studying English or French, I finished really exhausted mentally. I would like to go to the gym early as well, but we don't have that time. I think for that we should wake up at 4 a.m. That is so so early, and even gyms are not open at that time. So unfortunately, we cannot go early to the gym. But yeah, we try to do exercise every single day. So after my work, after my wife's work, we go together to the gym. So I think that having that organization, having all of those kind of activities, that is exercise, studying as well our leisure time, that is watching 30 minutes a series or a soap opera, all of that organization all together personally helped me to sleep better this year. So I already said when I finish my day, I know my body knows that it's my time is calm. So I feel so exhausted. And for me, it's so easy to go sleep. Another thing that we started doing as well is trying to avoid screens before sleeping, really sleeping. So we change it, we stopped it checking our cell phones before sleeping, and we started reading a book before going to bed. So we are reading a book in Portuguese that is about my church, my religion. So and this book uses like I'm not gonna say old-fashioned grammar, but the grammar is so difficult. I know, for example, reading the Bible in English is tricky, and it's the same for me because I am not Brazilian or Portuguese native speaker. So when I read that book, it's kind of difficult. So my mind, my brain works really hard. I think that with that activity, after that, I feel again even more exhausted. So that's why I can go or I can be asleep it easily. And those are some activities that I changed or something that I trying to do nowadays.
Nice. And you said about the point of don't use screen, for example, before go to bed. Do you think that impacts a lot on get sleep or on your quality of your sleep as well? What do you think is the impact of that?
I think the impact is so high, but as well it depends of the kind of content or the kind of thing that you do with your cell phone or with your computer in this case. So if you are just checking reels and giving more dopamine to my mind, I'm sure that it will be harder for you being asleep. But if you are doing another thing like, for example, just checking some information or maybe chatting with your friend, with some colleagues or with your brother, I don't know. I think that it can be different. So I think that it depends totally the kind of thing that you do. For example, I know that as well. Checking your screen before and after sleeping is bad. But in my case, when I just wake up, I start my day reading, meditating about the Bible as well, and I try to do that in English. And I don't have the physical lesson, so I have to use my cell phone. So in that context, I would say that my screen, that case, is not that bad as people say that don't wake up and just pick up your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly that. It depends of the usage, you know. I agree with you. If you are like going to bed and before go to sleep, if you are like watching a video or a movie about war and a lot of violence and all this stuff, or maybe some that let you anxious, you know, it's pretty bad for your quality of sleep to create melatonin and focus on falling asleep, you know. But if you are doing some like more relaxed, and it will also impact your quality of sleep because it's screen and because of the light, but it's not so bad related to other contents, you know. And the same about when you wake up and you just pick up your phone and when you are using that, you know. But yeah, in general way, it's nice if you avoid to use that, but sometimes it's not like um, it's not so easy to do that, you know. But what do you think about this point, Vanessa? Let me know your opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you and Christian. I really like Christian's advices and ideas. It is kind of handy, I would say. We can manage it. And I also notice, of course, for myself, for experience, that a good night's sleep starts in the morning. Like when you wake up and when you have your day organized and when you know what's going to happen, so at the end of the day it is easier like to find out the way to sleep well. One of the things that I notice is if I have important things to do, I need to manage to do it in the morning because the more late I get it, the more it impact of my sleeping. So for example, if I have a great meeting, if I have to write an important email or something that is important to me, I have to do it at least at 5 p.m. So I noticed the other things that I have to do after 5 p.m. it should be like smooth things, for example, cooking or just going to the gym, which makes me feel better at sleeping, and reading a book. And another thing that really helps me is the light mood at the room. So usually we have really bright lights, so it is not healthy because the body feels that it is day, so you cannot feel that it's time to rest. So I started using more dark lights, more for example, in my room will have a bathroom, so I just use the light from the bathroom, so at the room we kind of have light, but not very strong. So it is good for reading. It is good to just spend time and feeling this kind of this kind of atmosphere of going to sleep. So I think that's one thing that really helps me to find that the way of sleeping. And of course, as I told you guys already, as I have this problem with the medicines that I was taking, so I just stop. I stopped taking those medicine, and nowadays I still have to get them, but the amount is not so high, so it is just a small amount nowadays. So I don't think it is really impacting me very much. But this really helps me. Stopping taking medicines for my immune disease treatment helps me to get sleep very well.
Yeah, you brought interesting point related to the lights that we have at night, for example, usually at home we have this white light, and it's not so good for your body to go to sleep, because it's better if you have like the yellow light, because it's like the light of the fire that we have, so to falling asleep, it's so interesting to have that. And I also agree with you when you talk about uh, the point of a good sleep start at the day before, or in the morning, for example. Because for me, the most important thing for me when I wake up is like open the window and get this light, So I try to let my brain know that it's the morning and it's the day, and I need to wake up and all this stuff. So it's important. It's pretty bad when you just wake up and go to the computer and your bedroom is like in the dark, It's bad for your healthy, and it's important to do that. And another point that I'm trying to do right now in these days is trying to change my cell phone when I go to sleep, and before I go to bed, to read a book. I try to do that with a Kindle, for example, and it's not the best option, but I know that it's it's better compared to use my cell phone, and just go to Instagram and scrolling on the reels, for example. So I also think that's important. Try to avoid this screen time about your cell phone, and trying to read a book, for example. It's like helping me to fall asleep as well. So let's go to the question number 5 right now. Have you ever had a period of insomnia, and how did you deal with that? And I don't know, why do you think people in a general way have a lot of problems with insomnia nowadays? Let me know about you, Vanessa. What do you think about that?
Well, as I said before, I'm not a specialist, but I would say coffee is if is one of the tricky one, because I think it is when you need it, so it is good. But I noticed that people use it like water, so it is just a kind of way to be part of, when everybody's doing the same thing, so you are just doing it without think about the effect. So I really don't like coffee, but I have tried once, and I think I drank, I think one I forgot xícara in English. How is this called?
Uh, Cup, I believe.
Cup, cup. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's right. Thank you. I I tried one cup of coffee. It wasn't so much. It was a little, and it was 8 a.m. in the morning. And I really, I had a busy day. I was in a busy day, and I was exhausting. My body was exhausting, but it was 1 a.m. at the other day, and I couldn't sleep because of the effects of the coffee. So after that moment, I really hate it, and I decided don't that I wouldn't try it before. But I wouldn't try it after. So it was just a bad experience, and I can't say that it is the only problem involved into insomnia, because I have experienced insomnia the last months, as I told you before, but it was due to the medicines that I took. But I think nowadays I would blame coffee.
Yeah, that's a good point. I believe that because of this point about the period of the coffee on your about the caffeine on your body, actually, some studies say that you to drink until like 3 p.m. So it's important to do that because the time that this substance is on your body, it's pretty complicated, and is this exactly feeling that you said, you are tired but you can't sleep, and it's pretty crazy about this point of coffee and caffeine in a general way, so yeah, I also don't like coffee in a general way, and I don't drink that, but I think that a lot of people like coffee and try to drink that as water, all the days and all this stuff, and it's pretty bad for your body as well. So you need to like to have a balance, But and what about you, Christian? About this point of insomnia, what do you think? How was your experience?
Was yeah, I think I experienced it, but it was because of personal problems. You know, when you are so worried about different things, you can it can end in insomnia. So I remember one time that I had some several problems, personal problems, and I couldn't sleep well because my mind at that time was just thinking about it and doing like overthinking sometimes. But I personally think those were the only times or the only experiences that I had with insomnia. I don't like coffee. Well, I like it, but I don't drink it normally. My wife, she really loves coffee, but here at home we don't we try to not consume coffee frequently. So yeah, but about insomnia, I think it was specifically because of my personal problems, my worries.
Yeah, and I believe that when you have like uh, problems on your job and all this stuff, it's very complicated to just turn off your brain, So because of that, it's complicated to fall asleep and all this stuff. So uh, maybe it's because of these emotional points as well. But okay, I think that we have time for one more question. So let me end with some specific question. If you could give some advices for someone, for example, to improve the quality of their sleep, what do you think is the most important things that people can do to improve the quality of sleep of them, what do you think, Vanessa? Give us some advices.
I would say that these people really should have an overlooking of their routine, their organization, and try to find what is the problem. If, for example, if they can't go sleep early because of their job, because of their studying, okay, this manageable. Or because they are, as Christian said, overthinking why they are in this condition. Because sometimes we are just living a hard time and thinking that it's normal, because you really don't notice. We are not aware of what is going on, So I think one of the points is just to find out what is making us not sleeping well, and of course solve it. And if everything is fine, I would say that it's a question to organize the things. And as you said before, start in the morning to have a good sleep. I think that's it.
Amazing. Some interesting advice. So that's great. And what about you, Christian? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's important to like make a auto analyze, maybe which points are affecting our sleep time, I want to say. I think that is important as well to include exercise in your routine. It doesn't matter if it is just 30 minutes, so it's important to do that. Um, and maybe try to find a like relaxing hobby that you can do before going to sleep. Because I think with that it can help to improve your the how many hours you sleep. Um, I think that's it.
Amazing. So if I could give some advice, I would say that you need to know about sleep hygiene and you need to search about that and you need to follow these like steps. It's so important. You have a lot of things to do and you can focus on that to improve your quality of sleep. So it's an important point as well. So guys, we don't have time for more questions, but let me just ask for you, Vanessa, what do you think about the immersion? It's our first immersion, so welcome aboard as well, and let me know what you think about this idea.
It is amazing. I really enjoyed this time, and the times flies when you are having fun. So it was fun.
Awesome. So that's amazing. Okay, so I would like to send here on the chat the link of the survey. And as you said, it's an anonymous survey. You can say what did you think about the immersion, and also suggest other topics that you want to talk about. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the conversation, and I hope to see you on the next time as well.